Right. Okay, so just to recap quickly, when we add or subtract fractions, there's one very important thing that you've got to do right in the beginning. What is that? Make what? Denominators the same. Right. When we, yeah, you make, yes. When we multiply or divide, first multiply. When we multiply, what can we do first? We first, okay, yes, yeah. And then multiply, but sometimes we can, before we multiply, we can cancel out. No. Okay, when we cancel out, how do we do it? Up and down or across. Okay, right. So, oopsie. Just to recap quickly. So, if I were to give you 2AB plus 2/3 CD minus a half, and my space is very limited, CD plus 1 1 3/4, sorry, AB. But you guys know what my screen is doing, eh? Can I read that last part? Or actually, you know what? Can one of you, I don't want to do it, I've got a skirt on. Can one of you, boys, won't you please get on that desk of yours and just try and move the projector slightly so that that last bit will be on the board. Little bit. That's it. Yes. Thank you. Okay, now everyone can see, no? Okay, now, first things first. Because it is adding and subtracting, what must I look for? Like terms. No. Okay, now which one of these are like terms? 2AB and 1 3/4 AB. So if I were to add those, I'm going to get? Okay. Yes. 3 3/4, and very important, the unknown stays AB. Okay. Now, the remaining two has both got CD as an unknown. So I've got 2/3 CD minus a half CD. So they are like terms, and what would that then give me? 2/3 minus a half. Let me just quickly show you. 1/? Yes. Okay, so he said minus 1/6, but, oh sorry, not minus, just 1/6. But how did I do that? I took the 2/3 CD and a half CD, and I first had to change those denominators. No, so that would be 4/6 CD minus 3/6 CD. Do you guys agree? Okay, and now because their denominator is the same, I could say that 4 minus the 3 gave me 1/6 CD. Okay, so plus 1/6, sorry, but the recording sign is now in the way. Niks werk saam met ons hier, né? Right. Okay, from there, could I do anything else? No, couldn't go any further because those two terms aren't like terms, so I was not allowed to go and add. So that's as far as we can go. Okay, let's do one more, but slightly more complicated. Kom, skryf gou vir my. There we go. Okay, example number 2. Hiervoor is, jy kan maar kom aan. One or two? And 2. Okay, 9/16 y to the power 4. Our first one, square root of that, and then add a half y to the power of 2. Now, before we can go and add, I had to simplify both of those. So square root of 9 over 16 y to the power of 4 will be what? 3 over 4 y to the power of 2. Good. Plus. Now I want you to remember that that to the power of 2 applies to the half and to the y. So what is a half to the power of 2? 1/4. And y squared will become y to the power of 2. Now, what do we see? Both of them has got an unknown of y to the power of 2. So they are like terms, no? So therefore, I was allowed to go and add those two. So 3/4 y to the power of 2 plus 1/4 y to the power of 2 will give me 1 y to the power of 2. Or you could just have said y to the power of 2. Okay, you don't have to write that one. Any questions? Right, so that was just recapping addition and subtraction. So can I skip? Yeah. Wait, come again. Oh, the square root of the 9. Oh, if it was a cube root, yeah? Then it would be y to the power of 2, yes. Because we usually take the inside, we take this exponent divided by the exponent on the outside. But because nothing was written there, we assume it's actually a little 2. No. So 4 divided by 2 gave me that 2. Okay. Any other questions? Right. So let's do one where we've got multiplication. So example number 3. I'm giving you 2 over 5x times 3/4 x squared. Good. Now, we know that when it's multiplication, we can cancel out. No. But what about that x and the x squared? Can you see currently this is written as a mixed number? No, I've got 2 over 5 and then x. If I ask you to write that as an improper fraction, what would it then be? Where do we put that x? We put it at the top. Okay, so that is actually the same as 2x over 5 times 3x squared over 4. You guys fine with that? Okay, now we can have a look at whether we can cancel out. Now, cancelling out happens up and down. It can't happen over here. It can't happen over there. But we could cancel out across. So, meaning, let's look at these two. Can you see that 2 will be able to go into both of those? Okay. So, I'm going to take it away just now. But 2 will go in once and 2 will go in twice. No. Okay. Now, once I've cancelled out, what's our next step? We multiply everything at the top, meaning we multiply numerators, and then multiply everything at the bottom, meaning multiply denominators. Okay, so let's do that. So at the top, we would have, after cancelling out, I have 1x times 3x squared, and that will be 3x to the power of 3. At the bottom, I would have 5 times, and when we cancelled out, this became a 2, no? 5 times 2, so that will give me 10. Okay, now, yes? If it was in front of the fraction, then you would have to multiply with the denominator and then add the top one. But we don't do it. The x will always be after. Okay. Right, now you don't have to. But if I asked you to write it as a mixed number again, your answer, what would that answer then be? 3 over 10 x to the power of 3. You guys good with that? Any questions? Okay. Can I skip? Last one. Hands up who's still copying? Okay. En dan veel gaan kyk. Hallo.
Absolutely fine. Is not wrong. There are some printers that are which one got print so print on a screen. Yeah, I mean, I can print it. Yeah, man, I'm sorry. It's just a lot.
Thank you, man. Thanks, word. Okay, right. Are you done copying? Are you done? Jy gesels dan. I'm gonna skip. Okay, the last one, example 4. 1¼ A divided by a half. Okay, now, first things first. That mixed number, I want to make it an improper fraction. So 1¼ A. How would I write that? Let's first talk about the 1¼ That would be 5 over 4. Okay, and then the A we said we put at the top. So it would be 5A over 4. Do you guys agree? Then division, we have got to change to multiplication. And when we do that, what happens to whatever was written after the division sign? It's going to switch around. So now I'm going to have 2 over 1. You good with that? Okay. Now, only now can I cancel out. You cannot cancel out while it's still got a division sign. Okay. So that's why our very first step would always be to change the division sign to a multiplication sign. Now I can cancel out. 2 will go to itself once and 2 will go in there twice. Okay. Now look at what I have left. I've got 5A over 2 times 1 over 1. Now that 1 over 1 is just 1. And when I take anything and I multiply it with 1, it will stay exactly the same thing. No. So do you guys see that my answer here, the final answer will be 5A over 2. Good. Just want to get rid of that. 5A over 2. Right. Any questions? Okay. So main thing is, when it's addition and subtraction, first change denominators so that they're all the same. Then can we add or subtract? Okay. When it's multiplication, cancel out and then multiply. When it's division, first step is change to multiplication and then we can cancel out and multiply. All right. Okay, so your homework. And you have got around about 15 minutes left to do that. Is exercise 3.2 and that is on page 31. You're going to do number 1 and 2, meaning the whole exercise. Okay? Right. Any questions? Good. Then you guys can get started on that.